She has some good.
I think we're going to start.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Hey guys, why don't you guys take seats? We're going to get started. I know that we'll probably have some stragglers jumping in as we get going on a long weekend. Man, I hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Did you guys ever do anything fun over the weekend? Open house? Nice, Mitchell. That's great. Anybody else? Jiu-jitsu? Whole family went to jiu-jitsu. That's what we call conflict management.
I went to the Rolling Thunder motorcycle parade.
Oh,
With
wow.
like 4,000 other motorcycles. It was fun.
You were in it, or you watched it?
Wow.
No, I hang on as my husband rides this motorcycle.
Jen
I
joined the
waved
motorcycle
it.
gang. That's awesome.
I know.
Where's your jacket?
What, anybody else good stuff for the
Yeah,
weekend?
my pet's at home.
Yeah, Tara.
Went to Mexico for a couple days.
There you go, man. Nice. Very fun. I painted a wrought iron fence, so that's that is awful. That's right. So, cool. Well, hey, let's get into today's meeting. You know, I just remind you, like, you know, this is what we're about at Keller Williams. Careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And you know what I love about this is you could look at our mission and you could think that's a chronological thing. Like, first I'm going to get a career, then I'm going to have a business, then I'm going to have a life, and then I'm going to have experiences, and then I'll have a legacy. And what Gary Keller would tell you is that's really stupid, right? If you wait to have a life worth living, you won't. If you think someday I'll make up the time, you won't.
No.
And so we're going to really focus on building businesses and careers that allow you to have the life by design that you have come for, right? And so that's really our focus here. I just wanted to touch base on that. We don't do this every week, but it's important to keep in our targets. Hey, I want to talk about connection calls today. We've done this a couple times. Traditionally, I say, how many calls did you make last week? How many contacts did you add to your database? How many contracts, et cetera, et cetera? Here's the conversation I want you to have today. How many calls did you make this morning? How many conversations did you have this morning? And how many leads did you get this morning? On your mark, get set, talk to each other.
So we have it for people this meeting already.
Did it operate today?
Does it count
Yeah, did you do like a Memorial Day thing? I got a lot. I got a bunch of those from I went to a party around the corner.
All right, so give me your input. How many calls this morning? Anybody want to shout out? Four. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Yeah. Two.
One.
Yes, exactly. Three. Okay. Cool. How many calls this morning? All right. So the reason I want to talk about that is we're coming back from a long weekend. Some of us took it off. Some of us worked the whole time. Where does business come from?
Networking and talking to people.
Networking, talking to people. Yep. If you want to be in a relationship with people, talk to them. If you want to be out of a relationship with people, don't talk to them. I mean, and it's really that simple, right? If you want to have a relationship with your spouse, talk to them. If you don't talk to them. And you'll find out it works. It's very effective. Right? Like, it's the same thing with your database. If you want to be in a relationship with them, you have to talk to them. And that is not a spurts thing. That's a consistency thing, right? So this morning I made 10 calls. I had 5 conversations. My ratio right now is 5 to 10, or 10, or 10 to 5. And 10 to 5. Thank you, Arthur. And so if I want to make 20 conversations, then I know the math, right? That math is important because we go back to what's the goal? Careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving. Predictability is part of that, right? It's part of getting off the roller coaster of like, wow, God, where's my business, where's my life, I'm going to pay for my bills. No, it's just knowing your ratios, right? So if your number is a big donut, well, you've got predictability, right? No business. It's very easy to predict, right? So what we want to get to is predictability, that's productivity. And the only way we get there is actually sitting down and doing the work, the unsexy, boring, I don't want to do it right now, just make the first call, and then it just gets easier, right? That's the business. So cool. Well, hey, let's talk about our beliefs, our Y4C2Ts. Brent, come on up.
All right. Good morning. Well, again, I just have to reiterate, we don't sit in the morning and plan this stuff out. So I always love giving this great quote of the week. This week it's from this lady, Orly Steinberg. And Orly is a part of that pivot shift call that I get on early in the morning. And here's what she said. To be successful, you must have a reason to be tired to go to bed and a reason to wake up in the morning. So plan to go to work and then work the plan. And how true that is. You know, it sounds so simple, but without focus, it can be hard. So, too, is our Y4C2Ts. You know, they're simple words that we say each week, yet if we lose focus, they can be hard to follow. So that's why we like to keep repeating them, keep saying them over again. So we're all going to stand up and do it again and again, okay?
And again.
All right. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Win-win or no deal. Integrity, do the right thing. Customers, they always come first. Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all. And success results through people. Great job, you guys. Sit down and let me give you three great things of culture. So that second item up there is the best, man. Integrity. Do the right thing. You know, Webster says that integrity is a firm adherence to a code of moral or artistic values. And you know, when we read these Y4C2Ts, when we say them over and over, when we live them out in the field that we're working in, it can be like a compass. It can guide us to where we need to be in integrity, to do the right thing. And that's great KW culture. The second thing of great KW culture is this. We always perform to the level of our practice. So the question becomes how was your practice this morning? Chris talked about how was what you did this morning. What kind of results were you having? How'd you do? You know, we always know that it's better to practice on us, working with us, than it is to practice on our clients out there in the field. And that's great KW culture. And the third thing of great KW culture is this. You want to follow the model. You know, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, right? And so one of the things we have to do is each one of us has to find what works for us. Is it calling? Is it going face to face? What is it that works for you? Now take that and go double it, and you will be successful with it. And that is great KW culture. So have a great culture week.
Cool. Yeah, integrity, do the right thing. I mean, I wanted to hit this one again because we're in one of those markets right now where you can see people get a little desperate. And I say that because they're not running any models, right? If you haven't been running a model, you might have had your best year ever in 2022 or in 2021. In fact, I know some agents like that. There's one agent who I've had conversations with, best year ever, 2021. Yet now he's been flat, and I think he's sold one thing since January. Right? No model. So what happens? You get desperate, and you start making choices that aren't really in line with your character.
True.
Right? And that comes down to integrity. One of the things that we're going to focus on here is generating business in a consistent way, because the truth of the matter is it takes pressure off of you so that you can do the right thing at all times because you're not in that desperate mode. Because ultimately, who you are is how you act, right? Who you are the choices you make. And that means, you know, hey, if I've got a client and they can't qualify for a loan and they're going to get a loan from a relative, I call that a loan. I don't call that a gift because it's not a gift, right? And I don't represent that it's a gift if it's a loan because that's fraud, right? We don't commit fraud. It means that if there's certain programs available to different groups, right? It means I don't lie to get my client into that group. That's not integrity, right? And so, we don't represent anything but the truth that's not the truth, right? And that's hard. That is a hard thing to do. And it's something that, the world is going to tell you, blur the lines, blur the lines, blur the lines, blur the lines. Ultimately, you are your choices. Ultimately, the success of your business long-term isn't going to be about the short-term gains, but about the hard long-term decisions, right? And that's something we all have to challenge ourselves with. That's why it's in the Y4C2Ts. And I've talked about this before. I love our ideals because we have a company that says you're not going to be able to live up to our ideals. You're not going to be. Nobody here is going to be perfect at the Y4C2Ts. I'm not perfect at them. That means I struggle and strive. I struggle and strive. I struggle and strive. And that's what makes this company different, and what makes it better, and what makes it the largest real estate company in the world. So I just wanted to point that out. You may see everybody else go one way, but you stand for something greater than that in this industry. And this industry is better because you're in it. So, cool. Well, hey, let's get into our events and announcements. Learn more about your farm. Donna will be teaching this. This is Wednesday, May 31st at 11 a.m. and that will be here. And this is just about farming. And if you want more information, contact Donna Hurlbert about that. I'm leveraging some of the tools that she has available. Again, farming is just one spoke on the wheel of your lead generation. Boom. Ignite. Hey, I am excited about our foundational course, Ignite. We talk about the models and the systems of Keller Williams. This is where you get your first interaction with that, where you learn to be a small business owner. If you are not capping, you need to be in Ignite. If you're not at 100% every year, you need to be in Ignite, because what that tells me is you have not mastered the models. You're not implementing the system. You're still just kind of rolling the dice and hoping to see what happens. That's not the business we want you to run, because that doesn't give you the lifestyle you want to live. So Ignite, that's June 5th. That'll be every Monday and Thursday from 9 to 12 p.m. If you are not capping, I expect to see you in that class to grow your business. Good, Broker Blitz. This is just something we've been doing on, championed by Tyler. We're going to one listing every other week. This is your opportunity to A, see some phenomenal houses, and B, really showcase your business on social media and then help support our market center at the same time. That's Friday, June 2nd at 12 p.m. Anybody want to share experience from that? Anybody been there for those?
Suzanne?
Yeah, Suzanne.
I had the first one. You guys all came to my listing. I got it under contract that same week, which was really exciting, but it really, it made my sellers really excited. So I think just having that extra step to tell your sellers, like, hey, I'm gonna do this for you, it makes you look really good as a real estate agent. They were really, really appreciative. They liked seeing all the agents' pictures in front of their home, and just to be able to market it. And it wasn't just, I think, just to support each other too. I think it's a really good idea just to support one another and to be there for each other, because Chris talks about it every week about being a team. So I think it's just a good thing to do, like to be a team player for the office, and it also helps your business, and it gives you an opportunity to shoot a reel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Which is another good thing to do. So.
Absolutely. Perception is 9/10 of reality, right? What's the story you're telling on social media? Gosh, I'm so hungry, please send me a deal. Oh my gosh, I'm desperate. Or abundance, 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 right? So you go to this, you shoot the reel, you preview the home, you talk about this great home. That's a projection of abundance, right? That's different than, does anybody know anybody who wants to sell a home? Oh, please, dear God, help me. Like, that's different, right? Does that make sense? Right? What are you projecting? Right? What are you projecting? So Broker Blitz is a great opportunity to talk about the success of the team that you're part of, right? Cool. Mentor Minute. Ray and Jen, anything you guys want to talk about this morning?
Super proud of Mitchell. 3 of my mentees did open houses this weekend. Let's see if anybody else is here. Do you mind sharing? I'm so proud of you. Just what you did with your open house sign and your conversations.
So we were down in Temecula. One of Carla's listeners, we were working her open house. We had a lady come in. She questions about loans, and we took her information and followed up with her this morning and asked, double check the branding, and just sent her information, said, hey, I'm here to help. And then as I was picking up the open house signs, there was a lady sitting on her front patio. She asked her how it went. told her, and then she goes, okay, she mentioned she may be looking to move to Florida, she probably have to sell her house, so
Nice.
this morning I came in, wrote a note, said, pleasure talking to you, here's my info, be happy to help if I could.
All right.
We might
And
have
all
to-
that happened because he showed up and opened his mouth.
Yeah.
He's just nice.
There you go.
That's
That's
how it
it.
works.
That's phenomenal. Very good. So the one thing I would say, and I'll add, Jen will tell you this too, is follow up relentlessly, right?
Yes.
So that is a phenomenal lead, that you got open house, we'll circle prospect, you know, go around, talk to the neighbor says, think about moving to Florida, and you go, oh, cool. She says, oh, we're thinking sometime in the future. So you're not feeling any pressure. And then you find out she sold to somebody else. So you gotta follow up. You gotta get to know that family, but that's phenomenal. Good deal. Ray, anything from your side of the?
Just springboard off of what she said 2 words, show up. And
Yep.
I think a lot of people think, mentorship, it's only Monday and Thursday from 1 to 3. No, mentorship is, you're here every single day.
Yep.
You're here showing up, you're here working, you can't be success if you don't show up.
Yeah, hey man, that goes back to that question about how many calls today, right? We have this meeting, why do we have this meeting at 11 o'clock and not at 8:30? Should be lead generating, every now and then? Every day, right? Absolutely. Yes, Arthur.
This is for Jackson. I'm gonna put this out to everybody. I never want to do contracts. That's why I have my wife. She gets on me. And so my wife went out of town, and we dealing with three listings and buyers, and I didn't know how to, what you call it, scan from my computer and then PDF it, right? I don't know how to do that. So Jackson took my phone, my iPhone. He said, I'm gonna show you from your notes how to scan from your phone. It has changed my life.
There you go.
I'm serious. She was gone for about 8 days, and you know.
Well, I'm with you. I think we look at Jackson and we see somebody who's absolutely Keller Williams and absolutely mega agent in the making. It's just a matter of time. So, and not much.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, so absolutely. Cool. All right, well, let's talk about our new listings. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath coming up from Christine Simonson. If you haven't noticed, Christine is back, and she is back with a vengeance. 1,686 square feet for $615 in Corona. $615 in Corona.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna last very long. So, talk to Christine if you are interested. It is coming soon. Just listed, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. This is 854 square feet from the Hoffman team. 385. 2 bedrooms. Elisa, what do you want to tell us about it?
It's a really cute house in Moreno Valley, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, I guess it says there, but it doesn't need a work.
Okay.
We staged it well, and we used a photographer that came here one day to this office.
Yeah.
And it seems like they do a really, really good job.
Yeah.
We're happy with that, but the house does need work, but the way they did it, we kind of helped staging it, the things, and it came out really nice.
I gotta tell you, I love that
Eric
company's
actually-
presentation. So,
Eric actually has a buyer. When you say it needs work, is it more cosmetic, broken, worn, what?
Cosmetic, needs carpet, painting, AC could be old, he said it's working, but
When will it hit the MLS?
Warranty.
it's headed already.
Oh, okay, how many days?
Started Friday.
The opening incentive?
We, no, well, you never know,
You never
Okay, so he has time to show it. It's not like you have offers yet?
We have an offer coming in,
Yep.
but I don't
So
have
it needs to
in
be
our
shown
hands.
today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
perfect.
recommend that.
Nice. Ooh,
Thank
let's
you.
put it together. Yeah, so that one will not last long. That is your entry into the market, and anything under 4 is gonna go. So, cool. We've got just listed 5 bedrooms, 3 baths from Jill Farmer. This is in Norco and listed for $1,150,000. Now, anybody working with any 7-figure clients right now?
Yes.
Got a couple. Good. If you're not working with a 7-figure client right now, is this valuable to you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Get a 7-figure.
What's that?
You can get a 7-figure
Get a
client.
7-figure client. Yeah. Also,
Advertise it.
call your database. What do you say to your database?
You want a
Great
horse?
home in Norco.
We
You
have
only
the
want-
property for it.
Yeah, great home in Norco, it's $1,150,000. Who do you know? And they're gonna say, Chris, we're all dirt poor, we don't know anybody, right? And they're gonna associate what now with you? 7-figure homes, right? Because again, this comes from abundance, right? We always go, well, none of my friends buy a home. No, you want to make the association, right? Make the association. So this is a beautiful home, a great opportunity to make that connection. I'd go preview it personally and film a video in there and talk about this amazing estate home, right? So check it out. All right, lead follow up. How did we do last week? We handed out a bunch of notice of default leads here in this meeting. We said we were going to be following up with everybody, holding everybody accountable, that we talk about this week, and then half the group didn't show up. So, which is probably more to do with the holiday with the accountability. How did you do with your notice of defaults? Anybody, Freba, you were telling me about your work. Freba, put the hustle in. How'd it go?
I had two. I went to Moreno Valley, one of those. The guy opened the door, but he says the owner is not living here, and I asked for information, phone number, and address, and he didn't give it to him. They says we are okay, but I didn't open up because I didn't know who he is. I went to the Paris, second one. The guy was so nice, was fixing the garage and things, and he says he's talking to lawyer to find out the way to pay off or do something else. If it this week he is going to let me know if going that way or coming same.
Awesome. Very cool. So you had 2 encounters. Nobody swore at you, right? Did anybody threaten your life?
No.
Oh, it sounds like it was a win.
Yeah.
And you got 1 pretty solid lead, right? Now, did you, if you were going to that door and you had that conversation, you said he's with the lawyer, how would you handle that? Anybody want to throw out next steps?
Why don't you call the bank? You don't need a lawyer to talk to your bank.
Okay, so you might try to counsel that way. That's okay. Brett.
So I just keep asking the questions, you know, so why are you doing it through this attorney? Is there a fear of expectation that you're not getting? And keep going with the questions. What if, and how about, and those types of questions that can be brought back into, you know, do you know when it's supposed to go into a foreclosure situation where they might? And so that will give you more information. And what would happen if that does? Do you have another place that you can move to? You know, and just keep going with the questions.
Yeah.
And also, if he's dealing with a lawyer, the lawyer has their own realtor. She's just probably gonna refer it to some other realtor, so she has to stay on him.
Yep. So I would probably get the contact information for that lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Steve.
That's what I was gonna say, get the contact information for the lawyer and then set an appointment to call back instead of waiting for them to reach.
Correct.
No, I called today and left a
Yeah, you want to get the lawyer's information
Good
as
stuff.
fast as
No,
you can.
so here's what we're doing. This is just the wisdom of the group. I think your hustle's phenomenal, right?
Right.
And you've got the
You
door
knocked
open.
on the door.
Just
Yeah.
keep walking through that door, right? Keep walking through. And now you've got all this stuff to go back and take with you, which is my goal for this conversation. Yeah. Anything else?
Katie, she had 1 lead that didn't go anywhere, so I gave Katie my lead. Would you share how your voicemail went?
I just left a voicemail, haven't heard anything.
Yeah, but we played your voicemail and I loved it. Would you share? Cause I asked her to lead with compassion, cause
Yeah.
it's a scary time.
Yeah.
I just let them know that in my voicemail, I said that I have been through the same thing a few years back, so I know what they're going through, and if they have any questions and maybe need some options, I could maybe help them with that.
Yeah, I love it.
I thought that was
Relatability,
perfect.
right? Absolutely. Yes.
You gave Joe Parham 2 last week. My wife and I are helping her with those.
Yep.
One of them is already listed, and the other one is I'm sending out notes and keeping in contact with that one. That one is still viable for right now for her.
Good. Awesome. Phenomenal. Anybody else?
Also, we have 3, I guess Joanna gave me one of hers.
Yeah.
So, we did knock on the door, we sent letters actually, the, market, CMA, all 3 of them. One was vacant land, so we couldn't do anything, and then the other was tenant occupied, so we sent a letter to the owner. We knocked on the door on one of them, and the lady answered, and she kept on saying, no, it's all taken care of. She looks like, we had the Keller Williams Street, so she knew probably who we were. She goes, no, everything's taken care of, don't worry, it's all good. So, well, can we stay in touch with you? She goes, no, everything's good, so. I mean, she just peeked and said that, so, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do with that.
No, yeah, so you just continue to follow up, right? You know, one thing I would say on these leads, or any lead, aggressively follow up, right? We all tend towards wanting to be super polite and really, which is good, we want to be considerate, but on a notice of default lead, something's going to have to happen, right? And so, good news, something's gonna have to happen, with or without you, something's going to have to happen. The best outcome for that family is they stay in the home. The second best outcome for that family is they sell the home and they get equity from it, right? The worst outcome for that family is it goes into default, they lose all their equity, and now their credit is totally screwed, right? So you are probably the best thing that could happen to that person, right? Is you walking up and knocking on that door saying, how can I help? So just something to be aware of. Any other experience with those?
And
Yeah, Arthur?
most time, 90% of the time, if they're not able to amend that short sale, they're gonna have a difficult time attempting to keep it. So you're right, so stay on them, do all you can to stay on them. 8x8 touches, every week stay on them, so that way a lawyer doesn't get it or nobody else gets it from you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So should we hand out more of these leads?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we will continue to bring these to the team meeting then, awesome, yes.
Can I just interject something? I mentioned last week too that, I'm the one that does the Popeyes and the other different kinds of creative marketing, and I brought, the packets that I talked about last week that we've already created too, that might help you with scripting, and it's all based from compassion and that type of thing, with little, intervals too that we already have set up. So if that's something that anybody's interested, I'm gonna be here after the meeting. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Great. Hey, so powerful conversations is what I want to deal with today. And, you know, my sense is the more role play, the more confidence we can get, the better right now. That this is not a market where leads fall in your lap like it happened in the past, right? And when we started with that conversation about how many contacts did you make today, that should be something where you just 5, 6, 10, you know, boom, I did it every single day. Because the truth of the matter is, any area of your life you want to grow in, it doesn't happen instantly, it happens incrementally, right? But it compounds. So David, if you work out, which you do, obviously, right? The first time you went and lifted, did you lift as much as you lift now?
Nope.
Nope, absolutely. You know, the first time, right, yeah, absolutely, you're right. But incrementally, you get stronger. To the point now that you can't believe where you were, right? And where you are. Same thing with your lead generation. It's the same thing with your real estate business. And the only way to get better is to put yourself in a position where you're being pushed, right? There's something in humanity, that there's, as a creature, where we call it progressive overload, right? You cannot grow in comfort, right? Nothing grows in comfort except debt and your gut, right? That's it, right? But if you want to grow in strength, in knowledge, then you have to put yourself in a progressive overload situation, meaning I'm doing more than I'm comfortable with. I'm doing things I'm not comfortable with. I'm challenging myself in ways I haven't been challenged yet, and that's how you acquire new skills and you acquire mastery. And that's where we get to powerful conversations. So what I wanted to talk about today was I wanted just to have a conversation with some of our top producers in the room and say, let's talk about how you are generating business. And so I'm just gonna kind of throw this out. And so I'm looking, Brent, I'm looking for some answers from you. Suzanne, I'm looking for answers from you. Jen, I'm looking for answers from you. Ray, answers from you. And if anybody else wants to add into that, that's great. But if I said right now, how are you working in your sphere? What's the most powerful conversation you can have in your sphere right now? What would you do? How would you pick up the phone? What would be your conversation?
So Alice and I have been going around, we have buyers that are $1 million buyers, but they want to live in a specific area with a view. So what we've done is we made up 300 flyers and we've been going through that whole neighborhood, door knocking and handing out the flyers that says, we have a buyer for your home. And if you've ever thought about listing, name your price. Because we don't know what some people say, oh, it's, you know, $1 million. Well, nothing in your model has ever sold for $1 million. So now I just met with the guy Sunday and said, okay, here's the offer at $920. The reason it's not $1 million is here's your competition that's in escrow right now at $879. So at $920, you're gonna get one of the highest prices of any home in the area. Is that something you're still interested in? He said, that's a very generous offer and let me think about it and I'll be back with you on Wednesday. So, you know, a $1 million person that is absolutely stuck on $1 million would have kicked me out the door right then. This guy's gonna think about it. And so it gives us the opportunity to complete what our clients are looking for. They've already sold their home from Portland and they are down here. They're living in an Airbnb. So time is of the essence. And so
Thinking outside the box, like you and
doing
Alice are
something,
doing, is huge.
being
Instead
in
of just
action.
checking the MLS every day.
Yeah.
Good for you.
yeah, and they get the same, they get the MLS drip system every day and they're constantly What about this home? What about that home? Well, that home doesn't have a view, and it's a, 4,000 square foot 2-story, and you guys, you're asking for a single story.
Okay, so that's a call, that's a very specific, I've got clients who are looking for something, and that's a problem solving thing, right? Like I can specifically call and I can try to fix the problem. That's being a fiduciary. It's more than being a functionary, right? A functionary checks the MLS and goes, whoop, nothing I can do. You know who can do that? A robot, an AI. An AI can do that, an automated search can do that. An automated search can't do that, right? That's a top producer who's going to succeed, period, right? So what are other things? How are we generating conversations in our sphere of influence right now? Database. These are people who know you. These are not cold calls. What are you doing right now to work in your database? Suzanne, any insights?
I would just say, well, like Brett, we have a buyer too that's looking for a specific, we're doing the same thing, a golden letter, door knocking, trying to get somebody to list because they're 1.5 million cash and there's no houses for them. So it's like just going out there and hustling. So I agree with what you said. I think having years in the business, just going back to the people that have given good reviews and have said nice things about you, and that we're constantly doing Popeyes and following up with these people for years, and still being intentional with the Popeyes, but really asking for the business. Just say, hey guys, you know me, we've done business before. Who do you know? Because inventory is really, really tight. We have all these buyers, and just having those conversations with them, they're like, oh, Suzanne, and I ended up getting actually 3 referrals over the weekend, which is great. And but things are falling apart too, which is not so great. But I mean, so it's reality. But that's just like you can't count on business to. It's not over till it's over. So if you have things in escrow, you have listings, they can all go away very, very quickly too. So it's just that constant hustle.
Yeah.
And so just trying to find the people that talk to the people talk to your sphere.
I love that. So we're reaching into the sphere and going to that center of the circle. In Gary Keller's chart of your lead generation system, we call those allied resources. They're the people that you can count on for referrals. Going to them and just being honest. Hey, we don't have enough homes to sell. Who do you know? Like I really appreciate your help in that. Do you think, and Suzanne, you can give your experience or anybody else, do you think that is going to generate a direct referral on every phone call? No. When are you going to get that referral?
When they have their conversations. So especially like before this holiday weekend, Noreen and I were in here making phone calls on Friday. And part of the reason that we did that is because people were going to be getting together with their families over the weekend. And friends, like people that they may not have seen for a little while, and it's like that's where conversations happen. So you want to be top of mind when they get together.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're using this strategy, you're going to call through your database, and you're going to talk to people, right? And you're going to say, who do you know? You probably should put a task that says, call a week later and follow up and say, hey, I just wanted to follow up. Have you thought of anybody? Or did you encounter anybody, right? Because you've now you've pegged something in their mind. You have already sort of, you've preset the expectation. So what's going to happen now is their RAS, right? We've talked about this. Their RAS is now looking for people because you asked them. Just like if you said, hey, how do you like your Mazda? They're gonna tell you about it, blah, blah, and now they're gonna see him everywhere. Hey, who do you know is looking to sell a house right now? Their RAS is now activated, right? It's now looking for that. So the follow-up call becomes really important. Because if you don't do the follow-up call, what's gonna happen?
They're gonna forget.
Good intentions. Yep, that's it. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. I didn't think, duh, right? And so it's the echo that's important, right? So calling and just flat out asking, do you know anybody, right? Who else? What else? What is another call you're doing in your database right now, Jen?
I'm probably gonna gain weight because I am inviting so many people to dinner and lunch and breakfast because it's about relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't use the word, even though I haven't talked to some of these sweet people in a year or two, I don't say, hey Marcelini, I just want to reconnect with you. I just go, hey, are you hungry? I miss your face.
Yeah.
And so I have dinner tonight, I have lunch tomorrow, and from last week doing it, I have a listing appointment Thursday.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it does work when you just open your mouth and start being nice.
Yeah, and you look at your phone like, oh, I haven't talked to that person in forever.
But they already know we're realtors. You don't have to tell them.
That's exactly what I did too.
Right.
I didn't even bring up anything real estate related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to, they will.
Yeah.
They will.
Mhm.
But so I love this. So here's the thing: we don't call people. I'll get in 1 second. We don't call people in our database because it's been a long time. And we think, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to them forever. I'm such a jerk. I haven't talked to them. They didn't talk to you either,
Mhm.
right? So you call, and rather than avoiding it, just be like, I miss you.
Mhm.
That's great. You know, it can be let's get together for coffee. It can just be I miss you. How are you doing?
I have to eat anyway.
That's a thing. Yeah. I don't do it very often. I forget, and then I get home and I'm angry. Yeah, Arthur, you were gonna add.
The two things I do a lot of note cards. I go to and get note cards, a little eight in the pack, and I send them out, and then I do a veteran breakfast twice a week, and my veteran group is getting bigger.
Love it.
Every 2 weeks I do that.
Yeah.
And I got 4 right now, I'm gonna be selling and buying soon.
So I like this, and if you're listening, there's something that just refined what we said a second ago. Suzanne's calling her database, hey, do you know anybody, right? And so is Jen. I said call a week later. Arthur sends a card, right? So now you've got 2 echoes, right? And so now you're now, right? Because what is the easiest way to get someone to believe something? You just tell it to them over and over again, right? It's familiarity bias. So you're going to continue to do that familiarity. So yeah, absolutely. So you layer these things on. That's marketing, right? And now if you're doing your social media posting the way you're supposed to be, you're everywhere, right? You're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
What are the other conversations? Any other conversations in your database right now? Yeah, Stevie.
I think one of the things that works for me, and it might not, it mostly pays back in referrals, is I send little mini videos that are a couple 45 seconds long of me explaining something that might be helpful to buyers or something that might be helpful to sellers, and it's just a little friendly conversation video where they click it because it's interesting, it's a video,
Yeah.
and they watch it, and then, you know, if you write them again 2 weeks later, you send them another video again 2 weeks later. I've had people who are like, you know, this girl's on it. So I'll send my daughter, who's a loan officer, and I've gotten referrals that way. So I think when you're sending videos, you're sending little texts, and then on top of that, you're sending postcards and letters and things like that. On top of your social media, you just stay top of mind. It's
Absolutely.
little bits and pieces,
Top of
and I
mind,
think
top of
seeing your face
Yeah.
is helpful too.
Absolutely. Those little videos, I mean, and texting makes it so easy now, right? Hey, how's it going? I just want to send you a video because I don't like writing, right? Or whatever, you know? I thought you deserved to see my face. Whatever, right?
Love you.
Have fun, whatever it is, right? It just makes it easy to have that connection. So I love it. This is marketing. Marketing has to be frequent enough so that you're top of mind, because they will make a decision based on who they are closest to or in emotional proximity, right? So that's the conversation. So we've mentioned referral a couple times, and referral is important. There's 2 kinds of referral. Referral from an agent, that's a referral. And then there's someone in your market or in your database likes you enough to say you should work with this person. So, so Suzanne, you're calling through and someone says, oh my gosh, you're right. Oh yeah, my sister-in-law. We don't really talk, but she's getting ready to sell her house. You should call her. What's that phone call? How are you calling referrals right now?
I think, like the referral that I got this weekend, actually both of them, I just said, thank you, my sister's gonna be calling you, she wants to buy her house really soon. I said, thank you so much for thinking of me. Can you please introduce us in a group chat? Because it makes them feel a little bit more at ease.
Yeah.
And so both, and that seems to have the best return, because otherwise I'm calling them like, hey, I haven't heard from your friend, or I haven't heard from your sister, or I haven't heard from whoever, because they're nervous, or they're calling a complete stranger.
Yeah.
The person that referred you is your friend and they like you, but the person that you're waiting to call is a complete stranger. So I said, hey, can you just do a soft intro through a text message?
Yep.
And then that way they'll feel better, and it works. So
Okay.
I would highly recommend that.
I love this. So, oh yeah, I know somebody, because puts us in a weird situation. Oh, can you give me their contact information? You know, let me call them first. Never gonna hear from them again, right?
Exactly.
Or they give you the contact information, the person's like, I don't wanna deal with that, we all have this reluctance, but hey, start a group chat with me. Now your friend doesn't feel like they're giving away someone's personal information, which used to be in the phone book anyway, right? And the person feels like you have more of an endorsement. So that's a genius move, right? Just start a group chat. It's less confrontational, it happens right there, it's instant, right? And you don't have to wait and then follow up on the, hey, did you call your friend? I'm still waiting to hear from your friend. That thing, right? Takes out all the mix.
Right.
That's beautiful. I like that. What else? How else are we following up with referrals right now?
I would add do that with other agents too.
What's that?
If you're- If you're moving a client out of state and you're trying to get that referral from another agent, do a group text.
Absolutely, because you got documentation, one,
Yes,
right?
documentation, and also I feel like it shows that you did your homework and you're kind of earning your referral by
Yeah.
connecting them all in the same chat.
I will say also, it creates sort of oh, now I have to reply, because Suzanne's on that with me, and if I don't reply, I'm gonna let her down, so I gotta reply, because I don't wanna, you don't wanna upset your friend kind of thing too, right? So that, it creates that, so that's a great follow-up for referrals. What if the person doesn't text back to the group chat?
You have their phone number.
You got the phone number, so you make the phone call. How often should you call that person?
Until they answer.
Until they answer, right, yeah. How often you follow up with a referral? Until they either say yes or no, right? And you would rather they say no because you followed up too much than they say yes to someone else because you didn't,
Yeah, correct.
right? Absolutely. So follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Looking at, there was one of these here, like, and I was looking at one of the lead generation programs from KW a while back, and it was like literally 3 times a day. How often should you call a lead? 3 times a day until you book the appointment or they tell you to go away. 3 times a day. You go, well, I don't know, it's a little bit much, right? Is it? I don't know. I just went to Policy Genius to look at life insurance because I have way too many children. They call me all the time now. All the time. Why do they do that?
They want to get your business.
It works.
Have you ever donated blood? They call you.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
And they know you got
So,
insurance.
yeah, they want your blood. That's creepy.
They got insurance.
Okay. So this is good. Okay, so I want, kind of along those lines, I just wanted, if you're gonna door knock right now, if I'm going out door knocking right now specifically to generate business, what's the conversation? What do I need to say?
The opportunities in this market,
Tell me about that, David.
it depends the conversation, and the person that opens the door, because the conversation we had a few weeks ago, nobody wants to sell because they have that low 3% interest rate. When you talk about opportunities, if they sell right now, same thing with a buyer, if they don't wanna buy right now because interest rates are high, you talk about opportunities about, what it would be if you buy right now.
Yeah.
So just, there's always gonna be leads, but the market that we talk to them have to meet their expectations or the opportunities that they wanna look. If you go on Zillow or they go on Facebook, they're not gonna find the answers there. It has to come from us, so.
Yeah. So opportunity, I love that. So you knock on the door, right? And then what do you say? You just knocked on my door.
Hey, Chris, this is David. I'm Craig Williams Riverside. Just wanted to let you know that your neighbor sold for X amount of dollars over the asking price. There's still 18 buyers looking to move into this neighborhood. Do you know any neighbor you want to pick out at the moment?
Cool. Yeah, so you're telling a good story.
Right.
Right? Cool. What if you don't have a recent sale on your farm? What would you do? Anybody?
What's sold in the area?
What's
Doesn't
sold
matter
in
if it's your sale.
Yeah.
Did you know that this home on 123 Main Street just went into escrow at, $900,000?
Yeah.
And what would it look like for you if you got $900,000 for your home?
Absolutely. What else? What's another conversation? Yeah.
I guess we could do strategic door knocking on pending listings as well.
Say it again. Tell me about that.
Go knocking on the listings around your neighborhood.
Okay, good. Not on the pending listing, but on the ones around. I was a little bit nervous.
Sorry about
I was like,
that.
I'm not sure that's gonna flow. But yes, yeah. It's, hey, this one's getting ready to close, so yeah. Here's a, hey, Chris from Keller Williams, I just wanted to touch base. Has anyone gone over your property value with you recently? What do you mean? Well, hey, prices are way up. It's a crazy seller's market again. Do you know how much your home's worth right now? Well, I have an idea. I checked Zillow, Redfin. I've been on Zillow, Redfin too. They have no idea what your house is worth. And I can tell you why. When I moved into my home, it had seafoam Greek carpet, and it was hideous. It looked like somebody had died in there. They cut a big carpet out. Zillow can't know that. They can't know the $20,000 of flooring that we put in. They can't know the kitchen that we did. They're just making a guess. Would you like to know how much your home is worth? Right? So again, is that going to work every time? No, they're going to tell me to go away 9 times out of 10, right? But you're offering value, right? Hey, prices are really up right now. You probably have a ton of equity in your house. Have you thought about taking that equity and doing something with it? Right? Well, yeah, we're thinking about moving to Tennessee. I'd like to help you do that. No, great. Why? Why are you thinking about moving to Tennessee? Because the grandkids are there. Oh, wow. So what's your timeline for that? Well, how old are your grandkids? Well, they're, 13, 14. Oh, so in 5 years they're gonna be out of the house. Oh. So it sounds like you probably need to get out there sooner than later if you really wanna be in their life. Right? You're helping them discover their motivation. Right? So those are the kind of things we have to be thinking about. Make sense? Cool, all right.
I have a different approach to door knocking. When I go show houses, or my client wants to see houses, I go about 45 minutes ahead of time. And I scan the neighborhood, so neighbors come out, who are you? I'm with Keller Williams, I'm getting ready to show this house. What this house is listed for, I have my paper and everything. And they start talking to them, I get all the information.
Yeah.
All of the information.
Yeah, so you're circle prospecting around the house you're showing, which is also gonna make your showing better too. Cause you go and you show that house and they ask you about the neighborhood and you're like, yeah, I was just here earlier, I talked to all the neighbors. Right, and this person over there, a lot of cats, whatever, you know what I mean, but you can have those conversations. Hey, so here's what I want, we're wrapping up now, we're gonna land the plane. Have you role played today? I love that, everybody's like, no one may talk. We're good. Right, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to make some phone calls right now with each other. Now, this is your opportunity to practice, because what I want you to do after you make some phone calls with each other is I want you to get your lunch, and then I want you to get your lunch, I want you to go make some real phone calls in your database. What's the phone call in your database right now? What's a call that you can make right now in your database, in your sphere of influence? Somebody shout that out, who hasn't talked yet. Said the high school teacher. Yeah, you've already talked, you can't talk right now. Okay, so somebody hasn't talked
I talk too
yet.
much anyway.
All right, yeah.
I'm a military guy.
Yeah. Somebody who hasn't talked yet, who hasn't given me a role play scenario. Anybody?
Don't be afraid.
What's your call? Yeah, Stevie, you already talked to Alyssa. Okay. Yeah.
I have a client who I need to write a golden letter for. So
Okay.
I think maybe just going over some things about his family and his motivation that I can include in my letter.
Absolutely.
And then discussing the areas or streets that he wants me to have those sent to.
Cool. What else? What's another call you can make? Any one of you can make in your database right now. Your sphere of influence. You call your grandparents and say, yeah.
A friend you haven't talked to in a long time from high school, from any place that you've met them from, like from a old workplace maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. Yeah, Mary.
A call that I'm right now making to my database, people that I haven't talked to in a long time. It's like, hey, hi, is this Chris? Yes, hi, this is Mary with, with Keller Williams, Keller Williams Riverside. It's been a long time, we haven't talked, I'm so sorry we haven't been in touch, but you know what, I promised myself that I'm going to call all my friends and family and keep them up to date on what's going on in the market, right? Because that's, so if you have any questions, please let me know. And definitely the big question is like, of course, yes, hi, how's the market?
Yeah, totally.
They always want to talk about that, and they'll talk about what's going on, and you stay top of mind in terms of real estate.
So today we've heard, hey, I'm just calling because I don't have enough, there aren't enough homes to sell. Who do you know? Valley Resources call. We've heard hey, I haven't been in touch, I miss you, let's go grab coffee, right? That's a great call. We've heard hey, I haven't stayed in touch as much as I want to, but I'm committed to just staying in touch with my database and letting you guys know what your property's worth. So when can I come by to give that to you, basically, right? We heard all those calls. Those calls will work on anybody in your database, period. Well, gosh, I haven't talked to that guy since college. That's great. Hey, Adam, I haven't talked to you since college. What's going on, man? Are you part of that writer's strike going on? That's a call. That's just hey, how are you doing, right? Right? Hey, I haven't, I sold you that home 3 years ago. I apologize, I haven't been in touch as much as I should. I'd love to give you a market update and let you know how your property's doing, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, hey, we had at church on Sunday. I just wanted to follow up because I was thinking about you. Hey, do you know anybody who's thinking about buying or selling a house right now? Yeah, I could really use your help. Anybody in your database, right? Yes.
So we do a lot of Popeyes, and I farm in my neighborhood, And now what I'm starting to do is call people in my farm after doing the pot buys
Mm-hmm.
and saying, hey, are you getting, my gift I'm leaving on the door? And
Yep.
if you're not ready to buy or sell, do you know anybody who is? Please think of me if that ever comes up.
Yep.
And I talked to one lady, and I was like, oh, hi, is Nick there? And she's like, oh, that's my husband, but he passed away.
Yeah, I've had that call.
Yeah. And I said, I am so sorry. So I actually got her some flowers.
Yep.
And I stopped by her house and introduced myself in person.
Yeah.
Cause she didn't tell me, she's like, I'm not moving, but to me, my heart went out
Yep.
to her, so, I was telling Stevie too, I was like, just being a real estate agent is a lot more than making all those transactions and those sales, cause
Absolutely.
maybe she needed that. She
Yeah.
was so grateful when I
Yeah.
gave her the flowers, she's like,
Well, and that goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, integrity, right? It isn't
Mhm.
about the sale. It's about, oh my gosh, this person just went through something, how can I be of service in that? Because it
Mhm.
isn't just about, how do I sell your home?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Something that's really intentional, because I've heard a lot of people say it, when you haven't talked to someone in a long time, instead of pointing out that you haven't talked to them in a long
Totally.
time, point out the last conversation you had. So if you say, oh, last time we talked, your, kid was graduating, how's college going? It's, they have to be what, a sophomore or junior now? Wow, you remember that? They're just so, touched
Yeah.
that you remember something so special or particular about a season of life that was
Yep.
happening for them.
And what allows you to have that information is your CRM, right?
Notes.
That's it,
Text
totally, it's your notes, yeah. Because the people in your life who are really good at that cheat, right? They have notes, they keep track of it. My sister-in-law, she's wonderful at that, she cheats, right? She has notes, she has calendar, right? So stay on top of that. Hey, so before we break, for you guys to go get lunch, then do your role play, then do your lead generation. And honest to goodness, I mean that, if you are not doing lead generation on a regular basis and you have a real estate license, why do you have a real estate license? Period. Make sense? Legitimately, if you don't intend to go get real estate business, why do you have a real estate license? So I mean it, when we get done here, go get some freaking business, right? If you don't have some,
yep.
right? And again, Brian, our goal coach, said this, if you lead generate, you don't have to tolerate. If you're chasing a bunch of clients who aren't qualified to buy a home and you're stressing out, you're spending so much time, it's like, oh my God, go get more clients, right? So that you get some transactions you can get through, right? So lead generate, so you don't have to tolerate. But before we get to that, we've got our sponsors for today's meeting, Rachel Martinez. And Rachel, you have got some information on branding, social media, et cetera, et cetera.
I do, Chris.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Thank you. Fun fact, I had a dream 2 days ago that John Travolta was a agent in this office. I don't know why, but if he happens to become a real estate agent, you heard it first from my
We had a conversation.
dream. And I was like, he kind of looks like an agent, maybe.
Yeah.
I also dreamt that I didn't bring any food, but so like Chris said, I am Rachel Martinez. This is my sister Emily, and this is actually my mama, Suzanne. In case you didn't know, the genes are really strong, so thank you for connecting us to this market center. Really excited to see some familiar faces, Tyrone, Chris. So I'll try to keep it pretty short. I'm gonna start at the beginning and then the end, and I'll explain the middle, okay? So I have yet to do one of these presentations without crying, because this is really close to my heart. I do this every time. It doesn't matter what market center I'm at. But I became a realtor because I really believe in safe spaces, and healing and re-identifying and rebuilding. That is really important to me. So I am a believer, and I really felt like, actually I don't feel like, I know that I have a call on my life to create a nonprofit for women and children that are coming, out of abusive homes, because that was me, and not my mom's home. Sorry, I should be clarify. My mom didn't beat me. Sorry. Should clarify that.
Didn't even think of that.
Sorry. Yeah. But that was me, and if it wasn't for the safe place that my parents and my sister and my friends friends and my babysitter provided, I would not have been able to rebuild my identity after going through those cycles of abuse. So I feel it's really important to pay it forward, and that name, Re-ID, came from actually my therapist, who said, Rachel, calm down, like, you're rebuilding your whole identity from what you knew that it was to something else, and that takes time. And so that was part of, you know, my vision. That's why I became a realtor. I wanted to use my real estate career to fund this nonprofit. And at the beginning of this year, I had the opportunity to meet with the Market Center, and this idea to provide marketing and branding that is authentic to agents was kind of born. And I decided to jump into it. I felt like it was really confirmed, and I'm excited to share about it. So, what we're about. We want to provide branding and marketing that is authentic to each person. I think that there is a basic human need to be seen and to be understood. I know that in real estate, I'm sure everyone has had a story of just being like judged or just misunderstood. You know, maybe people think that realtors have an easy job, and that is the worst misunderstanding, I think, in the world. So basically what we want to do is say, okay, who are you? How can we bring clarity around that? How are you connecting to your clients? And is there an authentic connection so that that transaction is smoother? You are the person that they need to work with. And I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and it's the same thing for every single agent. You want to connect with the people that need you, need your personality, and that there's like a mesh. And how can you do that if you are not portraying and branding yourself to who you really are? So the people that I meet with, I do free branding consultations. There's a QR code by all the food once we're done. Free branding consultations, and one of our core values is to bring clarity and focus to that. What is your identity as a realtor? Are you the PTA mom? Are you golfers? Are you, you know, I had a person that I met with, and she's like, love the LA Rams, we're season ticket holders, that's who we meet, we're sports people. Great, that is not me, you know? But it's nice to be able to connect with the agents and go, okay, how are you connecting to your clients? Everyone has a different sphere. What is that? What are your core values? What is driving you in your business? How do you sell yourself? Like, how do you work? What's special about you? Those are the sort of things that we talk about at our branding consultations. And from there, it is my job to take all of those things and bring clarity and focus to it. Okay, so Emily, this is my sister. I do her marketing for her, and a lot of times she'll say, I just like start talking, and I have all these ideas, and I have all these stories, and then you go, oh, this is what you want to do. Thank you. And that is what I feel like one of my gifts is. If somebody is telling me, hey, okay, well, I'm kind of thinking this, and maybe I want to do this, and I have this direction, like, what should I do? Let's hone it in and make something that works for you, that's authentic to who you really are and how you want to connect to people. That is my job. The challenge with that, of course, is how do you scale that for each person? I'm a systems person. I created a system that works for this business so that I can give the attention to each individual agent. And honestly, I think it really maintains the integrity of the business. So I'm a realtor, my sister's a realtor, we are in real estate, but instead of looking at competition, it's how can I make you shine for who you are and what you want to do and the people that you want to connect to, because it's different than the people that I want to connect to, and we all have different gifts. And I think it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to connect with agents and bring that out for them. I really like some of the things that Chris was saying as far as staying top of mind, being consistent, adding layers. That is what marketing and branding does, both on the print marketing side and the social media side. I do both. And I have found that some of the feedback I've been getting is, I would have never done this if I didn't have this appointment with you. I wouldn't have stopped and filmed these videos. I wouldn't have taken new pictures. I wouldn't have made this pop by tag. I would have just done this copy-paste marketing that is out there for a lot of agents. if that is something that you want, that is not who I am. If you want like plug and play, I don't want to throw any sort of like thing under the bus, but that's not what I do. I want everything to be special because you should stand out from the crowd based on your unique gifts and talents. As far as the system that I was talking about, first step is to schedule a branding consultation. They're free. I'd love to meet with all of you and talk about what your specific needs are. I really love that you brought pop-by tags. I think that's so sweet. We do that as well. What does your business look like and how can we help? So literally anything under the sun that you can think of. We do social media management. Those are kind of few and like a few slots available because it's pretty much a full-time job. But we can give you content. We can do print marketing, flyers, templates, anything that you can think of, we can do, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. So before you schedule those appointments, there's 3 things that I